How was your day, sir? Here, let me go to full screen here. Let me go here to this one. Close this. We'll pull up Christopher David here.
Car.
All right, what's going on?
Can you fucking pinch me? Just pinch me. Pinch me right now.
Here?
Pinch me.
Like hard?
Yep.
I don't want to do it too hard.
Am I dreaming? Bro, we've got 50 of the best, not best. We got 50 fucking top elite Bitcoiners chilling in our office. We got the conversations are I can't describe them. So let me say a few things. OpenAgents is evolving into an entirely different company. It's the same company. We have the same ambitions. It's just like we're leveling up because the things that we thought that we might do someday are becoming things that we're like starting to do now. It's all just very good. Let me see what I want to share about it. So for our lovely people in the Discord who are amazing and patiently or impatiently waiting
Discord.
for Pylon V2 to begin the next training run. I've literally had my agents going all day on like getting that ready. So like tomorrow-ish, give us a second because this has been a whirlwind.
We have 90 people listening.
Couple of days.
That's awesome.
What's up? So Pylon V0.2. Let me say something about this first. So we're about to begin a decentralized training run, which we now know is going to be a fine-tuning training run for a model. We're fine-tuning Quen 3.6. Our Pylon inference and stuff had supported Quen 3.5. We had to like upgrade it to support 3.6. And we're building out the fine-tuning engine. It's working great kind of locally, and we'll have Pylon VO2 ready to go like in tomorrow-ish. So I know I keep saying tomorrow-ish. So like at some point tomorrow-ish will become tomorrow, and you'll have a download.
I mean, we're going
to send you real work and you get paid Bitcoin, but just it takes a fucking second to create.
We've been busy.
It also takes a minute to create this software that is literally on the AI frontier. Yeah. And guess what? It's a new frontier. It's a frontier that OpenAI and Anthropic have ignored. It's called, what can we do with consumer devices yours? What can we do to take compute budgets and pay you who've got gaming computer, you've got old rigs that you used for crypto mining. Like we're involving you in the AI revolution because you've got a device that can run compute, and no one's taken the time to like take an ML library and like tune it to use your computer's resources. They've said, let's focus on NVIDIA's hardware. No, we're focusing on edge compute because, hey, there's a lot of it that no one's using, and it's very good for agentic workloads. But what we realized, we're calling that phase one. Phase one is stranded consumer compute. And you may have seen the graph we put out as part of our pitch deck and all this. We said, listen, OpenAI at the end of 2025 had 2 gigawatts of compute, and their entire compute mix was 2 gigawatts. There's 20 gigawatts globally of what we call stranded consumer compute. This is the computers that every gamer has, any person with a desktop workstation around the world. That's 20 gigawatts. We said, hey, listen, OpenAI built a $800 billion company with 2 gigawatts. If we can take a percentage of that 20 gigawatts and do something meaningful with that compute and use it and bring it online and use it in products, the company that unlocks any percentage of that 20 gigawatts has a path to becoming the most valuable company in the world. So that's been keeping us busy, and we're doing that. And that's phase one. That's going to stay. We came to this conference and, happily hosted the AfterParty because we're 3 floors up from where they held it. And hey, the Texas Energy and Mining Summit, a bunch of our buddies and extended network are in the Bitcoin mining sphere. Let's come here because I also have a suspicion that idea of making use of stranded compute, bringing that online, that exact same thing is what plenty of companies and compute wildcatters and Bitcoin miners, particularly here in Texas, are building thriving, successful businesses, bringing compute online. And not even just compute, but like Bitcoin mining compute. So let me give you an example. There is a gas flare, a little thing in West Texas that shoots gas out of the earth. This happens all over the place. And if they're big enough, they'll attract someone to like cap it and reroute it into a pipeline system and make good use of it. If it's too small or too remote or both to do that, then there's no one has an incentive to like run pipes out there and like capture such a tiny amount of things. And so for a long time, there's been something called flared gas, and you just have to deal with, we got this gas flaring up, and it looks bad because it's on fire, but it's actually like less bad for the environment if it's flared rather than just seeping out. But like you've got these gas flares that like no one has solved gas flares until Bitcoin miners came along and said, hey, we can actually like put a box on top of that and like turn that into energy and monetize it at the source. Right. And so Bitcoin mining is able to literally clean up the environment and also have these little micro businesses that are just converting flared gas. Now, there have been a whole bunch of Bitcoin miners, some of the larger ones, who've made pivots over the last few years to AI compute because the AI people are able to buy and bid more for compute. And so kind of what you've had structurally happen is that a lot of the companies that used to be Bitcoin miners because they built big data centers, they're in like core infrastructure places, they've become they've diversified partially or entirely to AI data centers, and some of the Bitcoin mining operations are kind of being pushed out to the periphery. Now, what we've identified in listening to the talks here is there's a little bit of a misconception among a bunch of miners because they think that AI workloads necessarily need that type of like co-located compute of state-of-the-art NVIDIA devices.
They don't know about the AI stuff. I mean, they know about the
training, for answer inference, and you need everything to be like in one. I don't get one.
I am the best, yes.
I do get one. Oh, thank you very much. You are the best. Was this yours and now I have it?
On this?
You want someone else to come in?
No, I think
you can join us, but I got a rant that I'm in the middle of.
I've got one more person. The guy doing the fine-tuning and the...
Oh, yeah. No, yes.
Can you come in?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yeah, tell them we're going to clip all this and stuff. Yeah, all this is going to be clipped, by the way. We'll have these into different videos at the OpenAgents YouTube channel. We'll post them on Substack so that way everybody can learn about all these companies.
So long story short is you have AI workloads that there's been an assumption that AI workloads necessarily need to be like requiring these co-located state-of-the-art NVIDIA GPUs, and you have to do that in the center and not the periphery. Well, it turns out that there's a type of AI workload that doesn't need all that. It doesn't need NVIDIA state-of-the-art thing. It's called agentic inference. So there's an article, Car, can you Google Stratechery?
Yeah, I know Stratechery.
Inference shift.
I think I'm a subscriber there, actually.
He's got an article from a week ago called The Inference Shift. There you go.
Right there.
And if you scroll down, you'll see where he defines agentic inference. And he says, of the three types of AI workloads, the main ones worth talking about. First of all, everyone talks about training and inference. You have to break out inference into two types of inference. There's answer inference and agentic inference. Answer is when you're sitting and talking to your chatbot and you want it to respond immediately with something smart. But then there's agentic inference, which is I'm going to sleep and I want my agent overnight or 15 versions of my agent to build different pieces of my code base. It doesn't have to be a 100 millisecond response. It can be a 5-10 second response. And maybe you can have a collection of Quen models instead of GPT 5.5, right? So agentic inference enables different structure of workload, different device types that make sense for that workload. And therefore, because you don't need to be state-of-the-art NVIDIA data centers, you can have the AMDs and the TEMS torrents and the RISC-Vs and the edge compute and the NVIDIA gaming computers sitting on people's computers, each take a little piece of agentic workload, right? So Ben Thompson here says that agentic inference is going to dwarf training and answer inference. Now, right now, agentic inference is only sort of kind of bundled with the big labs. The only reason agentic inference shows up on the bar chart of you look at the three things next to each other is because it's kind of sort of what the big lab does. No one's broken that out. No one's focusing on agentic inference. Well, guess what OpenAgents is going to focus on? Particularly when we're able to now go to the off-grid Bitcoin miner in West Texas or equivalent, throwing their containers on top of flared gas wells, who've previously thought, man, we've just barely gotten our economics working, but we wish we had the ability to have exposure to AI, and maybe they don't. But we say, listen, let's get you something figured out where maybe we help you finance, but like throw some compute in there. We can guarantee some minimums that you'll make from that.
Right.
And now you've got devices and you have the Bitcoin mining floor and the agentic AI upside. So Some people are calling this mullet mining, like Bitcoin,
interesting.
Bitcoin in the front, AI in the back, or do I have that backwards? But like basically Bitcoin mines should sort of like co-locate to some extent with AI infrastructure. There's certain software and coordination that's missing to make that like really repeatable and easy.
Yeah, I mean, we had Sterling on earlier, and he was literally talking about how you could have these spikes in the grid, specifically around what you were just talking about, the stranded energy, and you have these batteries that have to dissipate somewhere in the beginning of the day. And if as we all know, Bitcoin serves a very good use case for that, especially because with solar, everything, the way he was explaining it was like everything is on for everybody at the same time. So you have all these batteries that are filled potentially that have to dissipate, and if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing, right? Because the next day starts. You don't want to overload everything. And when he was explaining that, I was thinking about this, but now that you said that, this all connects. I get it.
Yeah. So the theme of this is, we call it phase 2 of our compute network. Phase 1 is our stranded consumer compute. Phase 2 is Bitcoin mining, AI, HPC. We're going to be making some very big moves here very soon. And then phase 3, as you heard all about phase 3 in our last video with Ben.
Yeah, that's what Ben's super excited about. Like, because that's his whole thing. That's what he loves doing.
And look,
and dude, then Odie already bought a boat.
We've got 2/3 of a boat. 2/3 of the.
We're not joking.
Listen, the naval fleet of the Republic of Atlantis.
If you're watching, it was for a great deal, Tim.
Now has 2/3 of a boat. So
it was a great deal.
Get ready.
Tim. If you're watching, Tim, it was a great deal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. I'll conclude here by saying.
Well, real quick. What about the open autopilot? When is that launching?
I don't know. Soon.
What, dude? We're already using it internally.
Well,
give the people what they want, Christopher.
No one knows about it. So we're going to be we're working.
We showed the screen, by the way, just so you know.
That's fine. So we're going to be launching that to businesses privately around Austin first, and we're basically looking for design partners and people who care and want about.
So you're
AI.
You're putting the crown jewel behind the counter. Is what
Listen, so my general approach over the course of this series or the video series is like, I'll launch something like they say, like launch before you're ready. And I'd put out something that's raw and rough and it would kind of work and we get feedback. And that works great for like a certain stage of company. And we're kind of like shifting into a new stage, which is before we put something out, I actually want to get more feedback and test it and make sure it's actually very solid. And like with the stuff that I want to put out, I just want to raise the quality bar.
It's pretty solid.
It's got magic to it, but it doesn't have polish. And so anyways, all that's going to happen. We need to take a few days and digest what all has happened at this event because certain of our plans and numbers are escalating in new ways. We got to follow up with the folks that we met here. What we can tell you that we're definitely doing next is we're launching Pylon and Nexus V0.2. And the people of you who have been waiting to like run workloads on your consumer devices, we're going to be doing that and ramping that up in part because we are connecting the compute and the models that we're using from that Pylon now into an actual revenue generating sales motion where we're training this like legal AI model that we're selling to lawyers. As soon as we can have customer revenue come use stuff that we're training, then we're going to start ramping up our training budget because, I mean, no one else is doing that. So let me just conclude by saying we're in a really special place here as a company in this city, that Austin, where just so much magic is converging on.
I mean, it really is.
We're just so fortunate to be surrounded by so many like good people. Yourself included, Carr.
Everybody, dude. I mean,
this was me ranting at my computer at my computer screen for 2 years, and now we like have a whole production studio. And we got amazing people coming through here and telling their story. So we hope to just double down and triple down on that. Grow bigger. Okay, so I want to introduce our next guest, which is Austin. So we've known Austin for a while. We've been picking around the Pleb Lab scene, and I'm so happy that Austin has been number one, just an amazing educator, and also starting to like educate more specifically
He's
on
educated
local
me
AI.
multiple times about AI.
And he's gone really deep into the weeds now of like local AI and squeezing out different things. And you know, we care a lot about this at OpenAgents because we want, you know, people to be able to control their AI. We want to reason about like what an individual can do with their local models, and then what happens when we start combining those people on the edge, those things on the edge into aggregated markets on Bitcoin and Nostra and that kind of thing. So Austin, come tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and everyone else, thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks, Christopher.